Sun Ce, courtesy name Bofu, was a military general and warlord who lived in the late Eastern Han Dynasty. He was the eldest child of Sun Jian, who was killed during the Battle of Zhangyang when Sun Ce was only 16. Sun Ce then broke away from his father's overlord, Yuan Shu, and headed to southeastern China to establish his own power base there. With the help of several people, such as Zhang Zhao and Zhou Yu, Sun Ce managed to lay down the foundation of the state of Eastern Wu during the Three Kingdoms period. In 200, when the warlord Cao Cao was at war with his rival Yuan Shao in the Battle of Guandu, Sun Ce was rumored to be planning an attack on Cao Cao's capital city of Zhoushan. However, he was assassinated before he could carry out the plan. Chen Shou's records of the Three Kingdoms describes Sun Ce as a handsome man who was full of laughter. He was also a generous and receptive man who employed people according to their abilities. As such, his subjects were willing to risk their lives for him. One detractor named Zhu Gong, in a letter to Emperor Jian, likened Sun Ce to Xiang Yu, the warrior king who overthrew the Qin dynasty. As a result, Sun Ce was also referred to as the Little Conqueror in popular culture. Early life and career. Born in 175, Sun Ce was the eldest among 5 sons and one daughter of Sun Jian, a military general loyal to the emperor of the Han dynasty. In 190, a year after Emperor Ling died, the warlord Dongzhuo usurped power, placing in the throne the puppet Emperor Jian. Regional warlords in eastern China then launched a campaign against Dongzhuo. Sun Jian rendered his service to Yuan Shu, one of the leaders of the coalition. The attempt to oust Dongzhuo soon failed and China slid into a series of massive civil wars. In the next year, Sun Jian was sent by Yuan Shu to attack Liu Biao, governor of Jing province, but he was killed in an ambush. Sun Ce brought his father's body to Qiyue for burial and settled his mother down before heading for Danyang, where his uncle Wu Jing was the governor. There he raised a small militia, a few hundred in strength. This small force was far from sufficient for him to establish his own power, so in 194 Sun Ce went to Yuan Shu. Yuan Shu was very impressed with Sun Ce and often lamented that he had no son like him. He also returned Sun Jian's form of division of troops to Sun Ce. Initially, Yuan Shu promised to appoint Sun Ce the governor of Zhejiang but eventually gave the governorship to Chen Ji. Later, when Yuan Shu was denied a large loan of grains from the governor of Lujiang, he sent Sun Ce to attack the latter, promising to make Sun Ce the governor of Lujiang should he succeed. When Sun Ce did, however, Yuan Shu again went back on his words and appointed someone else instead. The disappointed Sun Ce then began to contemplate leaving. Meanwhile, Liu Yao, who was by imperial decree the governor of Yang province, occupied Qiyue as the regional seat. Shouchun was already occupied by Yuan Shu. He then forced Wu Jing back west across the Yangtze River to Liyang. However, Yuan Shu claimed to be the rightful governor and sent Wu Jing and Sun Ce's elder cousin Sun Ben to attack Liu Yao. After they were unable to break down the defense for more than a year, Sun Ce requested to lead a force to assist the effort. Conquest of Wu territory. Though Yuan Shu knew Sun Ce intended to leave, he believed the latter would not be able to defeat Liu Yao. Thus he deployed the young general off with merely 1,000-odd troops and a tiny cavalry force. Along with a few hundred more willing followers, Sun Ce proceeded to Liyang, where he boosted his strength to more than 5,000. He then launched an offensive across the Yangtze River and successfully occupied the strategic position of Neju in 195. Two of Liu Yao's allies then came south from Pengcheng and Xiapi respectively to aid him. Sun Ce chose to first attack one of them, Zerong, who made camp south of Moling. After suffering initial defeat in the hands of the aggressor, Zerong fell back in defense and refused to engage in battle. Sun Ce then marched further north and attacked Zuli in Moling. Although Zuli soon gave up the city and escaped, Liu Yao's subject Fan Neng and others had regrouped their forces and launched a renewed attack on Niuju. Turning back, Sun Ce defeated Fan Neng and secured Niuju. He then began a second offensive against Zerong. However, he was struck by a stray arrow in the thigh. Returning to Niuju, he sent out false words that he was killed in battle. The exalted Zerong then sent a force to attack. Sun Ce led the enemies into an ambush and annihilated them. When Zerong heard that Sun Ce was still alive, he further reinforced his defense works. Sun Ce then temporarily gave up attacking Zerong and focused his forces on Qa. After all the surrounding areas were taken over by Sun Ce, Liu Yao gave up the city and escaped south to Yuzhang, where he would later die. As Sun Ce implemented strict discipline among his troops, he won the instant support of the local people and gathered many talented men, such as Chen Wu, Zhou Tai, Jiang Qin, Zhang Zhao, Zhang Hong, Qin Song, and Lu Fan. He then pushed his force deeper into Yangzhou and conquered Kuaiji along the southern shore of Hangzhou Bay, whose governor Wang Lang surrendered. Sun Ce made Kuaiji his base city and struck out at the wandering bandit army led by Yan Baihu. Yan Baihu sent his younger brother Yan Yu to offer Sun Ce a position alongside Yan Baihu, but Sun Ce showed no mercy and personally slew the emissary. As Yan Yu was known among Yan Baihu's men as a fierce warrior, his death struck fear into their hearts and they were soon defeated. Sun Ce then appointed his relatives and a trusted subject to govern Danyang and Yuzhang, from which he divided a new commandery named Luling. His campaign, from the occupation of Niuju to the conquest of the entire region southeast of the Long River, took less than a year. He then defeated and received the services of Zhu Lang, the chief of Danyang, and Taishi Ci, the leader of the remnants of Liu Yao's forces. He then urged the surrender of Hua Xin, another one of the remnants of Liu Yao's forces. Thus, with the exception of the scattered but still numerous army of Yan Baihu, the lands south of the Yangtze were mostly pacified. The barbarians of Shanyu tribe, however, were not easily dealt with. To counter the frequent rebellions of the Shanyu, Sun Ce appointed a certain Hechi to a military rank with orders to subdue the Shanyu. Hechi would go on to become a highly successful general, truly. His appointment by Sun Ce was the first important step to Wu's eventual subjugation of the Shanyu. Later life. In 197, Yuan Shu declared himself the unrecognized Zhongjie emperor. In a letter to Yuan Shu, Sun Ce denounced the move and broke ties with the former. In an effort to garner support from Sun Ce, the rising warlord Cao Cao then recommended him to be appointed the rebellion's suppressing general and informed as Marquis of Wu. In 199, Yuan Shu died of sickness along with his short-lived dynasty. His cousin Yuan Yin feared Cao Cao and gave up Shouchun. Bringing along Yuan Shu's coffin and his former troops, he headed to Wancheng to seek refuge under Luzon. As Luzon had insufficient food supplies in his realm to support the additional troops, he led a force south to pillage Haihun. Sun Ce was en route to attack Huangzu, who was Sun Jian's killer, in Xiaku when he received the news. He then turned back and captured the poorly defended Wancheng, taking over all of Yuan Shu's 30,000 former troops. Hearing that his base city had been taken, Liu Zun headed west and sought help from Huangzu, who sent a 5,000-strong naval force to assist him. Sun Ce pressed forward and defeated Liu Zun, who escaped north to Cao Cao. Sun Ce annexed more than 2,000 former troops and 1,000 ships of his enemy and came upon Huangzu. Despite reinforcements from Liu Biao, Huangzu was utterly defeated. During the battle, Sun Ce slew Liu Biao's officer, Han Shi, and completely routed Huang Zu's son, Huang Yi. The victorious Sun Ce in 199 looked poised to take over the entire southern China, as he was threatened by rival Yuan Shao in the north and could not divide his attention. Cao Cao attempted to further reinforce the alliance with Sun Ce by marrying the daughter of his relative Cao Ren to Sun Ce's youngest brother Sun Quang. Sun Ce in turn agreed to marry Sun Ben's daughter to Cao Cao's son Cao Zhang. The former governor of Wu, Commandery Zhu Gong, had long opposed Sun Ce. Zhu Gong wrote to Emperor Jian, recommending the emperor to summon Sun Ce to the capital, as he deemed Sun Ce to be a hero comparable to Xiang Yu and too dangerous to be allowed to occupy a territory. However, the letter was intercepted by an official loyal to Sun Ce, who attacked and then had Zhu Gong executed. Zhu Gong's former servants then kept a low profile and waited for chance to revenge. In the year 200, Cao Cao engaged in the decisive Battle of Guandu with Yuan Shao along the shores of the Yellow River, leaving the capital and his base city Zhushang poorly guarded. Sun Ce is said to have then plotted to attack Zhushang under the banner of rescuing Emperor Jian, who was a figurehead held under Cao Cao's control. Preparations were underway for the military excursion when Sun Ce ran into three former servants of Zhu Gong during a solo hunting trip. One of them managed to plant an arrow into Sun Ce's cheek before Sun Ce's men arrived and slew the assassins. Many differing accounts of Sun Ce's death exist. One generally accepted scenario is that he died that same night. Another possible scenario has Sun Ce living for quite some time. The physician told Sun Ce to rest still for 100 days to allow the wound to heal, but Sun Ce looked into the mirror one day and, seeing his scar, became so enraged that he slammed his table. The large movement caused the wound to break and he died in the same night. Although he was survived by one son, Sun Ce passed his legacy to his younger brother Sun Quan. When Sun Quan declared himself the first emperor of the state of Eastern Wu in 222, he bestowed upon Sun Ce the posthumous title of Prince Wan of Changsha. Sun Ce was succeeded by a posthumous son, Sun Shao, as well as at least two daughters, married to Gu Shao and later Zhu Ji and Lu Zun respectively. Sun Shao bore one son, Sun Feng, who was executed by Sun Hao for alleged treason due to his popularity. Dispute over cause of death. Sun Sheng in his exposition on disparities and similarities discounted the theory that Sun Ce made plans to attack Zhushang. He believed that although Sun Ce was a rising power, he was threatened in the west by Huang Zu, who was defeated but not eliminated, in the north by Chen Deng, governor of Guangling, and in the south by indigenous tribes yet to be assimilated. These prevented Sun Ce from striking far out at Zhushang and moving the emperor to southeastern China. He further argued that Sun Ce died on the fifth day in the fourth month of 200, before the Battle of Guandu even took place. Pei Songji, annotator of the Records of Three Kingdoms, rebutted Sun Sheng, arguing that Huang Zu was newly broken and had yet to recollect his forces while the indigenous tribes were scattered and not much of a threat. Pei Songji believed that the first objective of Sun Ce's planned northward excursion was to attack Chen Deng, which would provide a platform for capturing Zhushang. On the other hand, Cao Cao and Yuan Shao had been engaging in skirmishes and small-scale battles before Sun Ce's death. Thus there was in fact no discrepancy in timing. A historically implausible legend regarding Sun Ce's death involves a popular Taoist priest of his time named Ganji, whom he regarded as a sorcerer. Despite petitions from his subjects and his own mother, Sun Ce ordered Ganji's execution. According to In Search of the Supernatural by Gan Bao, a compilation largely based on legends and hearsay, Sun Ce began to see apparitions of Ganji ever since the execution of the latter. After he was injured by assassins, Sun Ce was told by the physician to rest still to allow the wound to heal. However, he looked into the mirror one day and saw Ganji's face, whereupon he let out a cry and slammed the mirror. His wound broken, he died shortly. This version was adopted and further dramatized by Luo Guanzhong in his historical novel Romance of the Three Kingdoms, in which Ganji's name was taken to be Yuji family.